Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 7 Minutes. I am your host, Chris Wright. I have my wonderful co-host, Beverly Swim.
Hello.
Hey, Beverly, how you doing? And then today we have the pleasure. Our guest is Michael Baker. He's the publisher of Capital Region Real Producers, right? And also, you started a new business. You're founder of Your Social Liaison, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are a Marine.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like to say ex-Marine. You're never an ex-Marine, right?
Oh, is that right?
Former. Once a Marine, always a Marine, though.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. So thank you for your service, Michael.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Michael,
You too.
thank you.
You're also
My honor.
you're a husband and you're a father, family man. Oh, you're a busy man, right?
Yes. Yeah. Busier than I'd like to be, but life is but a dream and a journey.
Gotcha. So, Michael, I met you many years ago. I don't know the number, so I'm just going to say many. Like Mocha Lisa Cafe was where I met you, and they've moved since then. They have a new location, and I had no idea why you wanted to meet. I think it was Joe DiCaprio that said you got to meet this Michael Baker guy, and so we agreed to meet at Mocha Lisa. And you told me about this venture, Real Producer Magazine. I was like, that's interesting. And the first thing I could think of was those magazines like Top Agent or something. I was like, I don't want anything to do with that, right? But then you kind of explained the process. And to your credit, what you have done is unified the real estate agent community. There was already other ways that we've been doing it, like through Women's Council, things like that. But something about Real Producer also brings people together. And I don't even know that if you knew that you were going to have the impact on our industry that you have. Like I said, Real Producer is something that people want to be on the magazine, on the cover. People want to be inside the magazine, and people look forward to your annual party. So kudos to you, and also thank you for unifying our industry the way you have.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and it's been incredible. We just had our 50th issue anniversary.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I feel like it was yesterday. We were just launching. We had a staff of 5, and now we have a staff of 16 or so.
Wow.
And it's just absolutely exploded. But it's about the community. It's about bringing people together. And Top Agent magazine, it has its part, but it kind of made it difficult for us to come in here because nobody really understood what it was. I think the best way to really boil down what Real Producers is in a nutshell is it's a networking group or community that uses a magazine to stay in front of its people and stay connected. And then we have parties.
And we have parties.
And everybody loves parties.
Everybody loves parties. Tell me why there are certain demographics that Real Producers doesn't work in. Why doesn't it work in Central New York or some other places?
It will actually work everywhere. It will work everywhere the community is open to the idea and the concept. And I think it was difficult for me to launch it here. It was actually one of the hardest things I ever did. I don't think I would have if I wasn't previously advertising in a Real Producers publication and saw for myself the type of impact it had on a local real estate community. That kind of motivated me and helped me push through the struggles of nobody listening to me, nobody knowing who I was or what we were doing.
Did you almost give up?
No, it was do or die. That was not an option.
It just occurred to me, we may have some non-real estate professionals watching. Can you just give us a really quick synopsis so that everyone will understand what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. The elevator pitch, Real Producers, it's a platform. It was designed to help the top producing real estate agents and the best vendors in the community connect and build relationships. Real estate, it's very competitive, and traditionally there's nowhere that you can go to meet other top producing agents if you're successful. Usually the networking events, they're not as exclusive. So what Real Producers does is we have a monthly magazine where we feature different real estate agents for free, and then basically the bills are paid for by agents that are not agents, vendors that are referred to us that by those top agents who are reputable and best at what they do. That way the vendors know, or the agents know, the vendors we work with are the best in the industry. The vendors know the agents we work with are the best in the industry. So it makes it worth it for them to come together and connect in meaningful ways and build those relationships that are going to elevate the bar of the real estate transaction.
Wow. Okay.
And I've said that hundreds of times. So if that made sense, very succinct and concise.
So there's a lot of real estate agents, and our MLS has grown. Did you notice? There's a lot of agents that have come on, right?
Yes.
I see this magazine. I've been in the industry for less than a year. I go, I want to be in that magazine. How do I get in that magazine?
Nominations. It's not pay to play. You can't buy it. People have tried. We've had to say no. It's been, it's actually kind of cool being able to have something that somebody can't purchase and they have to earn. Whenever I meet with a realtor, I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to be featured. I've met with over 400 real estate agents.
Yeah.
So we ask them, who do you want to read about? Who do you think is the best at what they do? Who do you think has an inspiring story? And then we keep track of those nominations. And the more nominations somebody has, the more likely they are to get a phone call. And it could be 3 years later. I called somebody a few months ago and they're like, oh, I thought you forgot about me. I was like, no, it's just time. Like, let's roll.
That's great. I knew the answer to that question. I love the nomination piece because you have reached out to me and other agents and saying, Chris, give me a couple of names that we should get in the magazine soon. And I like the fact that you are asking other agents, who do they want to know more about?
Yeah, it's about the community. It's never been about me. If you make it about other people, that's where the success, like true success, comes from.
Yeah. So what's some of the keys to your success? I'm going to say you're successful. You may not. You're a modest guy. You never would say that. But tell me what have been some of the keys to this, to becoming more successful at this venture?
Giving to others. Giving to others and supporting others is really the key at the end of the day. I've been thinking a lot about that. What creates success? What brings success? And really, for me, I've been able to build 2 successful businesses just off of showing appreciation to other people. And I think in a world where it's so fast paced, so quick hit of adrenaline, TikTok onto the next, to actually take the time to pay attention to somebody else and show them the appreciation that you have is more powerful than it could possibly be.
That's wonderful. You talk about having 2 businesses. How do you handle the work-life balance between 2 businesses and a family? You must have some relaxation time, I hope.
I don't. I crashed. No, it's tough. It is a juggle. Delegation. I've learned ramping up one business, and we went from 13 advertisers to about 50 at the peak before COVID in 12 months time. So it was a very drastic run up. And then once we launched Your Social Liaison, I really started to learn about personal limitations and what I was good at and what I could do and what I shouldn't do and what I should leave to others. And I think that if you're able to let go of the control and give trust in others and delegate out those things, that's how you truly amplify your time and find that success and be able to find that moment of relaxation. Scheduling and planning too. That's really important. You got to make sure you find time to relax. Hit some golf balls, right?
I have to ask.
You play golf then.
Yeah. I have to ask, what are those plaques behind you that says 10K, 15K?
Those are achievements through Real Producers.
What's the number?
Sales,
wow.
recurring sales monthly. And those
That's awesome.
we're working the way up, but with Your Social Liaison, it's, trying to delegate. We've promoted our content manager, Haley, to assistant publisher. So she's starting to take over more of the interviews and things like that, because Your Social Liaison has really just exploded. There's a lot of opportunity. And I think that coming into a recession, it's crazy. I sell advertising in 2 different businesses and I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity that's out there.
That's a great segue, because I was going to go into Your Social Liaison next. So why don't you tell everyone what that is and how you service people with that?
Yeah, it's social media backwards. Basically, I was able to start a social media agency that didn't actually post content, didn't create content for people. We didn't have anything to do with the actual posting of the content. I was thinking it was more of a social media agency because it enabled people to increase their likes and comments. But what it really is it's more like a social concierge agency. So the thought is that relationships are everything, but being connected to everybody is the key. And as I became busier, I relied more so on my Facebook in order to stay top of mind with people. But then I discovered that if you rely on Facebook to just scroll the news feed to catch up on your news and your important people, you're going to miss things.
Right.
It's not 100%. So what we ended up coming up with, long story short, is a way to stay top of mind with the people who are most important in your life. So imagine if you were able to take the most important 375 people in your life. What we do is our service, we look those people up on a consistent basis as that business page or as that professional, and we engage on the content on behalf of that brand or person. And we say, you know, this is great, this is awesome. If there's a birth, a death, a marriage, something important, we flag it, we send an alert to the client and tell them that something important happened in their person's sphere. And then we give them the opportunity to send out a handwritten greeting card. So we do this on a weekly basis. And what we found is that by engaging with 375 people on the consistent, which is the minimum, we go all the way up to about 1,200, it basically kind of hacks the algorithm. That way your content starts to show up on more people's stuff. So it increases the reach, it increases the awareness, but it also increases the top of mind awareness of the brand alongside the community. It's crazy stuff. And it's about to, we had a software designed that's about to be finalized, and it's next level. What we've been talking about for a year, Chris, you and me, I have finally been able to duplicate the software. So now we can offer personal accounts where you yourself can go onto yoursocialliaison.com. You can manage your own social media the way that we do for our clients.
That is
100% you, 100% authentic, subscription based.
So I'm going to put Beverly on the spot. Beverly said to me one time that she goes, I said, you don't post a lot. She goes, I don't like Facebook, right? Something to that effect. And that's okay. Not everybody does. But is that your customer?
It could be. It could be. Beverly, I too do not like Facebook. If you go onto my screen time, Facebook's like the 7th thing. I think I'm on it like 40 minutes or something like that.
A week?
Like a week, yeah. I don't go on it at all. And I'm personally conflicted with it, but it's an opportunity. I had to go on Facebook in order to have a connection and a presence in a community. I don't have that personal connection in my Facebook. And I think that's why I was able to look at it in a way where I could use it for business. The problem with Facebook is that people don't know what to do. They don't believe they can do it, or they haven't built the habit yet. Those are the only 3 problems, but really it's confidence. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. Nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants to deal with it. Like, we project our own insecurities onto it, and then we cloud our judgment, and it just prevents us from doing. But doing is the answer to building confidence.
You know, because I'm such a social media maven, so to speak, I can recognize your clients on Facebook. Not everybody can.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about me. I can recognize your clients and how they comment and how they post, and which is great. But then I know that person outside of social media too. And I already know you're not a Facebooker. But I keep seeing you in my feed.
Yeah.
And that's due to the work that you're doing, the service you provide. That's pretty tricky there, Mike Baker.
How many clients do you have?
Right now we got about 20. And we've been limited because basically I figured out how to do this quickly. I wanted to do a time block. This was my thought. I wanted to become the biggest raving fan of, call it 250 people, 50 people a day, 60 minutes. I look at their social media for 1 minute, 50 people, 1 hour, one time block, Monday through Wednesday from 8 until 9. That's what I did for months. And I learned a lot doing that, but I learned how to do it faster and faster and faster. So now it's 75 people a day. And with our software, we're able to bring that where if somebody was able to do it normally for an hour and a half, it would take you to do 75 people. You could get it down to like half an hour with this. Yeah.
Are you only covering Facebook, or are you doing Instagram, TikTok, and others?
Facebook, tried Instagram. Instagram can't do it. Can't do this. What I effectively did was I created a method of social media strategy, a new method. Mm-hmm. And I called it the repeated organic engagement. Mm-hmm. Through repeated organic engagement, by reaching out and touching people on a consistent basis, it keeps you top of mind. And by showing them appreciation and showing them kindness and consideration, it over time makes them think more favorably of you.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So
you have 20 clients. Is this a scalable business? Do you plan on getting 200 clients?
Yeah. That's why I built the software.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of the problems are, as you know, location. Right now, location. We use canned comments for the clients that we work with. There's 5 different ways to say happy birthday, 5 different ways to say like, this food makes me hungry or whatever. And everybody's different, but people didn't change it as much as they could have. So some of the comments are the same. People are inherently lazy. So it's like, you can kind of tell. I would prefer to get away from this territory. Mm-hmm. So we're out of like the local world of real estate small. I'm afraid of messing too much with the Facebook here. So that's been the goal. But my real goal, my real passion was to turn it into a tool that other people could use to do this themselves. And that's going to be possible by winter of 24. It should be full-blown retail.
All right, Beverly, ask him some fun questions. You love the fun questions.
I do. What's the most memorable moment of your career so far?
The most memorable moment of my career. That would be, I would say, the most memorable moment of my career was when we first launched Real Producers. And we had our first launch event. It was 6 months after the magazine's first hit mailboxes. And we had all of the vendors come there. And they were all there before all the agents got there. They came like an hour and a half early. And I was sitting there, and there's all these people. And I thought to myself, 12 of you had enough faith in me to invest in something that didn't exist.
Yeah.
I almost cried. Like it was crazy. I was working at a grocery store for 11 months at night just to pay the bills. From January to November of 2018, I made $8,511.
Holy crap.
Wow.
And then I launched Real Producers. It was blood, sweat, and tears. And that
real
was
tears, real tears, right?
Real tears, yeah.
Real tears.
Quitting that job at the grocery store was the best. I was like, yep, that's it. I'm out. See you guys later. I don't need my discount. I'm good.
That takes me to another question. It sounds like you've already lived through this. What's your biggest fear?
Oh. My biggest fear. That's a really good question.
Well, it seems like you went through it, so much of it already.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest fear would be not being able to learn anymore. That would be.
Yeah.
Well, great segue into what are you doing to learn more now?
Read. Self-reflection. Self-reflection's been big. Podcasts, things like that. I just learned about the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator thing.
You would not believe this. I made my wife take the Myers-Briggs last night.
Yeah, did you? That's awesome.
I'm an ESFJ.
That makes sense.
And she took it. She's an ESFJ also, but she's only 3% extrovert.
Ah, okay.
That makes sense. I was way off the charts extrovert.
I could see that. You are. I am a INTJ. So my personality type is very analytical, very,
Beverly, have you ever taken it?
To explain.
I've taken the one that has the different kinds of people that what category they put you in.
The disc? Was that the disc?
No,
Oh.
I'm a Superman. I want to take care of everybody. That's
Oh.
what
Oh, okay.
I do.
Okay.
I want to jump in and fix everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tend to be that way. I look at myself as a problem solver. I want to fix things. What I liked about Myers-Briggs, it was very logical, science-oriented. Been around for over 100 years with Charles Young. Literally, Chris, I've like dug into this for like 30 hours over the last
Sounds
3
like
weeks
it.
at night. Like
Mhm.
just understanding the way the brain works, how you process things, how you process information. I think awareness is key. And I think that understanding brings clarity.
Right.
Mm.
So the more I can learn, the more I can understand, the clearer life becomes.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
excellent. Well, you mentioned books, podcasts. Do you have any recommend for our audience?
Yes, I would say that the number one book I would recommend would be How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mhm.
That would be number one. The second,
Carnegie. That's Carnegie,
yes,
right?
yep, by Carnegie. The second one is by a guy named Jack Schaefer. There's another gentleman who co-authored it with him, but it's called the Like Switch, Like,
Mhm.
like thumbs up, like switch.
And what is that about? What's the premise?
This guy, he's like a CIA operative for 30 years, and his job was to take foreign diplomats and then build relationships with them so they would turn on their countries and become spies for the United States. So it's all about like how he got people to build relationships with him, and it's crazy.
So it has nothing to do with Facebook.
Nope. Nope. It has to do with human psychology interaction.
See where my brain went? The like
Yeah.
switch. I'm like, okay, so that should help me with social media.
It did. It did. That's what I realized. That was one of the books that inspired me to create Your Social Liaison.
Really?
Yep.
That's
Because
incredible.
that book, if you think about it, the three key factors to a relationship is how close you are in proximity, how much time you spend with that person, and how deep your conversations are. And when somebody is in bed on Facebook, scrolling the news feed for their average of 52 minutes a day, you are artificially increasing the duration and proximity you have to that person. So I built Real Producers by taking pictures of other people, tagging them, so my face showed up on their news feed, so their friends saw my face and became familiar to me.
Wow.
You
The
know,
like switch.
that is a completely, I never really looked at it that way, and I'm shocked that it's 52 minutes a day. That's real?
That's the average.
Yes, that's the average. Yes.
So Chris, you over under that?
Currently, because of my new job, under. Because I need time to sleep. But with that being said, I do jump on it about 10 times a day. I'm just spending less time on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm opening it up. I'm liking a couple things. I'm scrolling for about a minute, and I got to get off. I got things to do because I'm very aware. Very aware.
Well, one thing I've learned is don't ever look at Facebook right before you go to sleep.
Yeah, I could see how that would be. Yeah.
That can be problematic.
Actually, I've done that, and I wonder why I don't sleep sometimes.
You don't sleep?
I don't sleep. I don't. My mind, I can't turn it off. Just goes. Tried melatonin, but
Yeah. Since the book, he's about a CIA agent, I was going to ask you, what was your first job? Did you ever want to be a CIA agent?
I thought about, police security, being in the Marines, that kind of satisfied that a little bit. But when I was a kid, I thought about it recently. What did I want to be when I was a kid? I wanted to be an inventor. I wanted to invent things.
Have you invented anything?
Well,
a few.
Well, this new methodology is brand new. That's really exciting and good for you.
Yeah, and then I got a self-cooling CamelBak for runners. That's on the way, right down the pipe one day.
What kind of distance do you like to run?
I hate running. But what I hate more than running is taking a sip of that water from my CamelBak and it being really, really hot when I just want to cool down.
That's awesome. Well, let's see. I had one more. What piece of advice would you give to someone who was wanting to start out in journalism or real estate or anything, or maybe even doing social media like what you're doing? What advice would you give them?
Or what mistakes would you have? What mistakes you've made that you don't want to see anyone else make?
That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. We never, you know, I in raising children, I see myself and my kids, and I never thought my parents knew what they were talking about. And no matter how much they tried to warn me of mistakes, I never listened, because, you know, I believe we all come into this earth and world the same. We all exit the same. But what matters is the branches and the path that we take in life, the journey of it all. I would say that, you know, if anybody is looking to live their dream and start their own thing and find the meaning in their life, that they just need to forgive themselves, not be so hard on themselves, and understand that you need to feel a little pain in order to grow. And that's not something to be afraid of.
Gotcha. Hey, you know what? And before we ask our last question, we always have a last question. Before we ask that, you told a touching story on stage, and it was pretty much dedicated to your wife. And I think you probably brought tears to the crowd. But I think it was about the fact that you were in the grocery store when you met Sherry, right? Or was
I wasn't in the grocery store. So I was born and raised in the capital region of Burnt Hills, right? Mm-hmm. My parents moved down to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2017. Mm-hmm. I moved down there with them, but I had met Sherry like 6 months before we moved, and we had like started dating, and then I left her and I was like, I'm sorry, I like you, but I'm moving to North Carolina, and I up and left. And yeah, I realized I made a mistake. So I came crawling back, and she took me back. But I didn't, at that point in time, I had basically run out of money. And she took me in, and, you know, we started living together, and I was working at the grocery store. I waking up early, meeting with people, going to work for $11 an hour. And she literally every night, no matter what, would come and park outside. And during my 15-minute break, I'd go outside and sit there in the car with her and eat my lunch. Not lunch, but dinner, hot cooked with the kids in the car or not. And I couldn't have done it without her. I mean, she had the faith in me that nobody else did, that I didn't even think I had. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to get it.
That's a great story. So Beverly, tell your women friends that just because the guy works in a grocery store, he could still be a good guy.
Well, of course they can.
Well, you know, some people can be shallow these days. Be like, I like him, but he works in a grocery store.
Right. Well, the most embarrassing was meeting people that I had met with, and I'm like in my you know, suit jacket and stuff, and then I do my meeting with them. Oh, I'm bringing this thing here, and then I see him in the dairy section, and I got my apron on. I'm like, hey, are you that guy that? Yeah.
Aren't you that successful publisher?
Right. Working on it. I'll be there soon.
That's awesome. Well, Mike, we like to end on one question, and that is, what's next for Michael Baker?
What's next? That's a great question. Your social liaison's going to take off. We got some great things coming down the pipe for Real Producers, picking up some new staff, taking on some new people, really figuring out the right formula for the post-COVID networking in local real estate. So I'm excited for that. But what's next? Just building really cool stuff and seeing how we can help people. That's it.
Great. Well, Mike, thanks so much for coming on. By the way, are we going to have the 50th issue party, or did you already have that?
We didn't have it. That's a great question. I didn't even consider that. It landed in a time where we had a couple months between parties. The next one should be end of February, I think, is on the calendar right now.
Make that the 50th issue party and invite all the covers.
Hey, oh man, we're going to need a bigger space.
There you go.
Good idea. I like it.
All right, brother. Well, you know, I always think of any type of mixer and event ideas, but that's okay. But anyway, listen, thanks for coming. We've been on here a while, but I do want to let you know that I think you've been an asset to the real estate community. You're doing an outstanding job. I want to see a social liaison go from 20 people to 2,000 people if possible, and read about you on Inc. magazine or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be
great.
Awesome.
All right, man. You have a great night and have a good one, man. See how the family.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one, Beverly.